Hey, what's up? I'm Lindsey. Welcome to a YouTube channel. Today I am really just speaking from the heart, and I'm going to speak about psychosis. I'm going to speak about what I do to keep narcissism and negativity away from my inner consciousness. We're going to do a psychic development exercise, and I'm probably going to talk about bluebirds or blue jays, both, maybe one or the other, a bit too, because they are really coming to me this morning. I don't even know how many, 4 or 5 of them outside of my back window flying around, and they represent psychic awareness. They represent heightened psychic awareness. So I think that looking into the symbolism of the blue jay and the bluebird, because they are different and I'm not sure which one I'm seeing, would be beneficial for us. So to start off with, a psychic development exercise, which I will reveal at the end of this video. And it's usually not, I usually don't make too long of videos. So there's a color and a number on the other side of this card. What number and color is it? All right. Okay, so first, speaking about psychosis. So I was just connecting for the day, and the way that I do that is I channel Reiki is at the basis of everything that I do. So when I'm working with animals, when I'm working with people, Reiki is at the basis of everything. So I'm always I draw out the Reiki symbols every morning on paper or in front of me. If I'm having issues, then I do certain techniques with the symbols to assist in establishing balance or curing sickness. But if I'm, today I'm feeling stable, so I just drew them out and I say them quietly to myself. And then I open myself up to receive insight from Source. And when I say Source, I mean God, the Most High. Source consciousness, not religion. Source. My sovereign connection with Source, God. So what Source said was that collectively there is a continuance of this effort to clear all false all false light, which it could be life too, all false life. That's kind of crazy that came out. All false, guys, I wear a partial, and it's a new partial, and it is hard for me to talk. So you will have to excuse me. Otherwise, you're going to see me smile with back teeth missing, which I don't like the way that looks. So I wear the partial, and it's hard to eat like that too, but anyway. So there's this continuance of the clearing of false light operatives. So we are ascending into a new level of awareness of false light identification. So that means we're moving into a time where it's going to be easier for you to identify false light operations, which enables you to clear and no longer identify with those false light operatives, which help you get more in alignment with your sovereign connection with Source. And that we are also going through this process of balancing light and dark. within ourselves. This is all within ourselves. Everything starts within the individual and moves outwards. So it's like I run into people who want to change the world, but they're stuck in narcissistic or toxic patterns. Well, if you want to change the world, you first have to change yourself. It works from inside to the outside. You can't want to change the world, but you won't stop being toxic. What sense does that make? It doesn't make any logical sense to me. One other thing that I've noticed is that matrix logic is the exact, pretty much, opposite of source aligned logic. It is the opposite. But once you're on the other side of it, like once you're in source aligned logic, which is also like magical logic, matrix logic is like absurd. It's absurd. It makes no sense, which makes things more difficult for a while because it feels like you're fighting against the grain, which I know most of us have felt like that our whole lives because we were born more source aligned than most people because of our purpose in this life to assist the collective in ascending into their source aligned consciousness. So we've been going against the grain out the gate is what it's felt like for me, which I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. And so, but there's even a deeper level of that once you're operating in source aligned logic and no longer operating in matrix logic, but are able to see both of them from a outside perspective. Most people are operating in, cameraman got murked again. Buying shit on TikTok, y'all. I don't even do it anymore. I don't. Everything is a piece of shit. Anyway, just prepare yourself. I'm sure you already know, but prepare yourself even more. It's going to feel like you're fighting against the grain for the foreseeable future. So settle into that shit. Settle into your light and dark. There's a balance. So what Source was saying is that we're going through a process of balancing light and dark. Being aware of our light and our dark, our shadow and our light. And having full acceptance of both, all. The more self-acceptance, the more you're balanced. The more you do not turn against any part of yourself. I mean, it is possible that you've done some really fucked up shit, okay? So I'm not saying to lean into that fucked up shit and go do more fucked up shit. I'm saying that you need to look at the fucked up shit that you've done and see it for what it is, accept it for who you were and what was going on, and heal that part of yourself. If you have an awareness of it was fucked up, you're not going to do it again. So don't live in fear of yourself. I'm kind of getting off topic right now, but this is what's coming up. So there's a clearing of the imbalance of light and dark within the individual soul. There is a need for, if there is shit within yourself, this also ties into psychosis, you guys. If you are experiencing psychosis, this could be why. Say there's some fucked up shit that you went through. It could have been a week ago. It could have been 10 years ago. That you absolutely do not want to look at because of how painful it is. Those things that you're ignoring create psychosis. It creates psychosis. All you have to do is go back and deal with that shit. Dealing with it in the present by reflecting back to the past. EMDR is what helped me. And you don't even have to go to a counselor to do EMDR anymore. You can do that shit for yourself. There's EMDR-led videos on YouTube. And this is my experience. I suffered from complex PTSD, which I still experience PTSD. Trauma, like, you know, shit. I don't like shit sneaking up on me. Or startled, or, you know, things like that. But due to, I'm going to get real personal here. Due to severe sexual abuse when I was young and not receiving the help or support I needed from that or for that, I started using drugs very young. Really after this shit happened. Before this stuff happened, the sexual abuse stuff happened, I was like experimenting. After that stuff happened, I went off the deep end. And years and years go by. And then intrusive thoughts start manifesting, which intrusive thoughts are a part of psychosis. It is also a trigger for psychic development also, because you get acclimated with these voices that are going on. Now, the intrusive thoughts are on some other shit. And it's like, it's almost a word that's coming to me as like a parasite. It's like a parasite within the mind, creating voices or thoughts that the person that they're happening to do not resonate with. And that the voices are like the most horrific thing. It's like your mind trying to kill you, pretty much. That is the only way that I can describe it. It's like a parasitic mind fuck that's in the part of your mind that just spits out words and phrases that are absolutely demoralizing and the worst shit that you could think of. It's like intrusive thoughts. The mind will take the most horrifying shit that is personal to that person and spit it out into the mind. And so then you go through this whole process of doing everything in your power to not identify with these intrusive thoughts that are spitting out in your mind that you don't identify with. So I used drugs and alcohol over this shit for years. And I'm talking like 15 years. And then I started having experiences with other women who were going through the same shit. Who were suffering just like I was. And then I realized that it was a program. It's programming. If the same shit is happening to other women, it is a program. And then I didn't even know what intrusive thoughts were. I didn't even know that they had a name. once I got over the fear of talking about it, because I thought people were going to throw me in a mental institution, plus I went through periods of almost putting myself in a mental institution in my early 20s because of the intrusive thoughts, because it creates this level of non-trust within the self, because you aren't creating the thoughts. The thoughts are coming out of left field. And well, and that is all. Now that I'm sitting where I'm at and I'm like saying, you're not creating the thoughts. Aren't we all creating everything within ourselves? But that's like beside the point. Don't focus on that right now. No matter what, everything is created for your growth, no matter how evil and fucked up that it seems. You keep the mindset that you're going to get through it, and you keep your center with, you know that you're a good person. You know that this crazy fucked up shit that's going on in your mind is not you, because you are not your mind. You are your soul. Your mind can be hijacked from conditioning. Your mind can be brainwashed. Your soul, which is you, cannot be. You have to start talking about it, though. Because once I started talking about it in like rehab for the, God knows, probably like 13th time or some shit, I finally started talking about it. I was 31. I was so sick of this shit. I knew that I was a good person. And I knew that the shit that was going on, these intrusive thoughts, were not anything that I've ever done, would ever do, didn't know where the fuck they came from. And then I'd already had these experiences with these other women who were experiencing the same thing. Well, other woman, at least it was other woman, one other woman, but I know that isn't the only. It isn't the only one. I know that there was more than one, but I was sponsoring a woman in AA when I was still, or it was CA, when I was still dealing with that shit. And when we did her fourth and fifth step, she was having the same fucking experience. And that, I mean, I was like 26 or 27 then. So that kind of helped the situation. But then it was still going on when I was 31. And I was drinking alcohol and then going and doing H and ODing. I've died. I've overdosed and died. I don't know how many times, like a lot of times. Okay. My phone ran out of storage. Okay. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop on that rant. Okay. Intrusive thoughts and psychosis are what you must go through and conquer to get to your real, centered, psychic awareness and alignment with source consciousness. It is the battlefield, y'all. It is how you learn how to control your psychic abilities, is going through psychosis. So don't give up. It is a personal journey. It is something that is going to be different for everyone. I can't imagine it being exactly the same. Everyone's going to experience that shit differently. Everyone's going to go through it for different lengths of time. It doesn't have to be a long time. That's why you have people like me who went through that shit for 20 years, give or take a few years or so. So I'm able to sit here and assist you all not have to go through this shit for so long. Intrusive thoughts are leading back to some kind of abuse in the past that you have not dealt with. If you are experiencing intrusive thoughts and PTSD, it is because of some trauma that happened probably in your childhood. If you don't know what it is, ask yourself. Ask yourself. Get into a silent space and ask yourself for that information, and then pay attention to what memories come up. Psychosis is how you learn how to control your psychic awareness, because psychosis is psychic awareness out of control. It is telepathic interference from others' thought processes. It's telepathic interference from the universal mind. It's literally a new way of viewing life. It's a new lens in which you're looking through. And the way that you learn how to harness it is through going through it and figuring out what works for you. It's like going through this process of elimination. And I went through all of this shit drug-induced, pretty much, which intensifies everything. So what I started doing is whatever the psychosis was trying to make me scared of, I started going towards it. So, and in the beginning, like when I was like 18 or so, it was a lot of like shadow things, like shadow people, and fear that, you're being followed or watched or yada, all this bullshit. I started going towards that shit. If I thought I saw like a cop or something like that, because I ran around with a bunch of drug addicts. Like, we were, paranoid about everything, pretty much. But I figured out that the shit that I was seeing wasn't real. So it was all being made up by my mind. And I was physically reacting to these things that my mind was making up. So this is how you build self-trust. Psychosis is really for you to go towards what you're afraid of, realize that it was all just your mind making the shit up, and then you settle back into your power and prove where your mind is full of shit and where it's not. Like, you have to go through this process of elimination to start to build trust with your intuition. You have to get to the bottom of what your mind is making up and what is intuition. In order to do that, you have to prove your mind ridiculous. You have to prove to yourself that your mind literally makes shit up that is completely false. It will make you see things that aren't real. And the only way to prove these things is to go towards what it's trying to make you afraid of. Going towards the fear is the answer. After you do that so much, was my experience. I proved my mind to be full of shit. Once you prove your mind to be full of shit, you move deeper into your soul and your spirit and your intuition. So, view the psychosis as a blessing. It is your practice space to prove your mind false, which all has to do with the ego and all of this shit. The Power of Now, that book will help. Get that book. That book is what helped me through psychosis. 100%. The Power of Now. I have it. I always keep a couple copies because I like to give them to people. So whenever I find them on sale, if I find them somewhere like a thrift store for like $1, like I'll buy a bunch so I can give it to people. And Eckhart Tolle, when he wrote that book, he was suicidal. And I was suicidal when I picked up that book and it got me out of that. And I've never looked back. I've not been suicidal. Well, not like seriously suicidal since then, but I wasn't even really suicidal then. It was the psychosis telling me that I needed to be suicidal, but I wasn't really even suicidal. That is a story for another fucking day. Another day, another time. All I'm saying, Source has got you. Source has got you. The psychosis can't make you do anything. It can try, it can't hurt you, is what I'm saying. The voices and the psychosis isn't going to materialize into something and inflict pain on you. It can make you hurt yourself, but that's it. Other than that, it has no power. So look at it for what it is. Psychosis is a battleground for you to prove your mind full of shit so you can settle more deeply into your source, into your soul, into your sovereign connection with Source, with God, with your intuition, with the life that you want and see living for yourself. That's all it is. Look at it like that. It's a learning experience. It isn't meant to take you out. It's designed for you to get through it and ascend into a deeper level of awareness of your intuition and your psychic awareness. Outside of the conditioning. Psychosis is deconditioning. Absolutely. Because you are fighting against all of the conditioning that you have been conditioned with. Like if you hear voices, you're crazy. Or if you hear voices, it's the devil. That's conditioning. It's not truth. It's bullshit. It's conditioning that has been imposed onto your mind. So when you start to hear voices, your whole body reacts and starts freaking out because you have been conditioned to think that you're in communion with the devil and that you're crazy if you hear voices. When really, no. That is the voice of God. That is the voice in your sovereign connection with Source and truth opening up for you. But you first have to get through the psychosis, the conditioning, the bullshit. You've got to prove it to be full of shit. Go towards whatever it's telling you to be afraid of. Go towards it. And if you are, if it's something that it's telling you to go towards, and you just are, you're scared to death, put it in the comments and I'll help you get through it. Because I have tons of experience with this shit. All right, this video is already so long. Okay, guys, we didn't talk about the bluebirds, and they're still out on my door too. Another video, because I also have a session, a Reiki session I need to go into. What color and number is on this card? Blue 3. Blue 3. All right. Have a beautiful day. Don't forget to comment, share, subscribe if you like my crazy content. And yeah, I would love to meet you. Bye.